Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today we've got a really fascinating conversation lined up. I'm here with my co-host, Eric, and we're diving deep into the future of AI, software, and how technology is reshaping the very way we work and build. We just went through this incredible transcript of Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, sharing his insights on AI, platforms, and the evolution of software engineering. There's so much to unpack, so buckle up.
Absolutely. This was such a rich interview. Satya really cuts through a lot of the hype and brings us back to the practical, real-world impact of AI. I was struck by how he emphasized that AI isn't some mysterious magic or sci-fi sentience, but a tool, a platform, really, that's reshaping the workflows and scope of jobs like software engineering.
Right, that's a great place to start. He framed AI as this next major platform shift, the fourth one after client-server, web, mobile, and cloud. And what's fascinating is how he talked about the compounding effect. AI builds on the cloud infrastructure, supercomputers, and models that came before it. It's not just a new product, it's a foundation for future innovation.
Yeah, the idea that the cloud made AI supercomputers possible, which then led to these huge models and finally the products we're starting to see today, it really shows how technology evolves step by step, right? Each generation of platform changes the workload too. For instance, training AI models is a totally different kind of computing job compared to what cloud computing was originally designed for. That's a really interesting point about system software entering a golden age.
I love that he called it a golden age of system software. It's like the backbone of everything else. And he mentioned that opportunity isn't just for hyperscalers. Even startups have massive room to innovate here. And then from those platforms come the models, and from models come the apps that impact people's daily lives and economic growth.
Exactly. And Satya was very clear that the ultimate goal here is creating economic surplus, real value that benefits communities, countries, industries, and companies. It's not just about the cool tech or benchmarks. It's about how AI helps people get things done better and faster. Like the example he gave about getting a mortgage loan quicker. That's a tangible improvement in people's lives.
That was such a practical example. And he also pointed out that much of the cost in industries like healthcare isn't about the drugs or treatments themselves, but the workflow and clerical work. Imagine automating those processes with AI. The amount of time, money, and energy saved could be staggering.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing to think about how much of healthcare costs come from paperwork and administrative tasks. Satya mentioned how an LLM plugged into electronic medical records can revolutionize something as simple as patient discharge. That's where AI can shine, by removing drudgery and freeing up professionals to focus on what matters most, actual patient care.
And that ties into his point about the biggest rate limiter today being change management. It's not just building AI tools, but changing workflows and even redefining job scopes. Like at LinkedIn, they combine design, engineering, and product roles into full-stack builders. AI will force companies to rethink how teams work and what jobs even look like.
That's a huge cultural and organizational shift, isn't it? It's not just tech deployment, it's transforming how people collaborate and how work gets done. Satya called it the social rate limiter, and I think that's spot on. Even the smartest AI tech won't be effective if people and organizations don't adapt their processes and mindsets.
Totally. And I loved the bit about telling AI researchers to go undercover as medical billers or knowledge workers to really understand the drudgery in everyday jobs. The repetitive copying, pasting, filing, and emailing. It's so human and mundane, but also where AI can have the most impact.
Yeah, that was a fantastic perspective. It reminds us that AI isn't just about flashy breakthroughs, but automating the boring stuff so people can focus on higher-level thinking and creativity. Satya also talked about how software engineering will evolve. Software engineers won't disappear, but they'll become more like software architects, managing AI agents and understanding complex changelogs.
I found that really reassuring. Sometimes people worry AI will just replace us, but Satya's take is more nuanced. Humans remain in the loop, especially because of legal liability and the need for oversight. So the engineer's role shifts to overseeing AI agents, making sure builds don't break, and ensuring quality. It's an abstraction uplift, as he called it.
Right, and the legal and ethical frameworks around AI mean that human agency still matters a ton. Tools for transparency and explainability will be crucial. And speaking of tools, Satya also discussed the scaffolding around AI models, memory, tool use, and entitlements that need to be built for more sophisticated applications. It's a new kind of middleware, if you will.
Yes, that was a fascinating analogy, comparing models to SQL in databases. Just like SQL provided a stable platform for apps to be built, AI models plus their scaffolding might offer a new foundation for software development. And that leads to questions about whether users will prefer just-in-time code generation instead of packaged software.
That's a hot topic. Satya seemed optimistic that both will coexist, prefab applications with strong feedback loops and just-in-time generated apps. He also made an interesting point about VS Code being like an IDE and Excel being an IDE for data and analysis, emphasizing the importance of great tools as canvases for creativity.
Yeah, and the role of design in all this can't be understated. There's still a human element translating user needs into software, even if AI generates code. Not everyone will want or be able to build software themselves, so that interface and experience design remain key.
Definitely. And it was also great to hear Satya's thoughts on AI hype. He acknowledged the hype, but emphasized the importance of earning social permission. The real measure of success is AI creating meaningful, widespread social and economic benefits, not just flashy demos or valuation spikes.
That example he gave about the Indian farmer using a chatbot on WhatsApp to get agricultural subsidies blew me away. It's a perfect example of how AI can democratize access to services and empower people in the developing world. That's the kind of impact that deserves way more attention.
Absolutely. And Microsoft seems to have so many initiatives lowering the barriers, like GitHub Copilot helping developers worldwide, or AI interventions in education in Africa and Latin America. These real-world impacts matter.
Speaking of Windows and AI, I liked how he described Copilot as bringing vision and speech together, almost like a precision mouse for computer use. It's like AI is seamlessly integrating into the tools we already know, while also paving the way for new interfaces and form factors.
Yeah, and the trust factor he mentioned. Can we trust AI agents to delegate tasks accurately and securely? That's going to be huge. Privacy, security, and sovereignty are massive considerations, especially at the scale Microsoft operates. It's not just building tech, but doing it responsibly.
And that brings us to leadership lessons from Satya's career. I loved his advice about bringing your highest ambition to every role, no matter how small, and focusing on making teams successful. Bringing clarity, creating energy, and solving over-constrained problems. That really resonates.
Such timeless advice. Leadership is a continuous practice, not something you save for later. And his story about teaching project management at Palantir was a neat example of how foundational skills can travel and transform organizations.
Before we wrap up, we have to touch on quantum computing, Microsoft's major RANA chip, and the interplay with AI and HPC. Satya talked about quantum as the ultimate simulator of nature and how combining AI with quantum and HPC could accelerate breakthroughs in physics, chemistry, and material science.
That's next-level stuff. The idea that AI emulates simulators and quantum computing could unlock simulations at a fundamental level. It's like science fiction, but real. It'll be fascinating to watch how those fields converge.
So finally, if you were 22 again, starting fresh at Microsoft in 2025, what would you work on? Satya said he'd want to build the next generation of tools that empower people. Tools like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint that everyone uses daily. Tools that give people a sense of empowerment and analytical power.
That's inspiring. It's a reminder that the best tech isn't just about complexity or cutting-edge science. It's about creating tools that people love and use every day, that amplify their abilities. And judging by this conversation, the future of AI and software is all about empowerment.
Absolutely. Well, that was an amazing deep dive into Satya Nadella's vision for AI, software, and leadership. Thanks for joining me on this journey.
Thanks for having me. And to all our listeners, keep thinking about how AI tools can empower you in your work and life. The future's bright and full of possibilities.
Until next time, take care.